What's up guys, it's Connor, and today I'll be teaching you about the card anatomy for the Menesis trading card game. It's important to know how to read and identify the contents of each card, so let's break down each card's elements. The first is the card's name. This is how you'll identify each card. Some cards will have a specific card name in quotation marks in its effect. The name in the quotation marks is referring to that specific card. Next is life bars. This is the amount of life bars a monster has, which is abbreviated with LB. The LB printed on a card is referred to as the monster's original life bars. Once a monster's life bars is reduced to 0 by card effect or from battling, which we'll get into a little later, that monster is destroyed and sent to the discard pile. Next up is type. Type is a unique characteristic that helps diversify different monsters. There are many different types such as creature, bug, ice, and doodle, just to name a few. Type is important because there are some cards that require a monster to be a certain type. Next up is card description. This is where you will find specific abilities or card effects of monster cards. Non-effect monsters have no effect at all, so this space is usually empty. Next up is attacks. These are located between the card art and monster card description. Each monster will have a standard attack, while some monsters will have an extra more powerful special attack. The energy symbol to the left of a special attack tells you how much energy that special attack requires you to pay to use that attack. If you do not have enough energy to fulfill that attack's energy cost, you cannot use that attack. Each attack has a certain amount of power bars, referred to as simply PB. This is the amount of damage an attack will do to another monster's life bars. We will cover more in depth how to battle later. Now for the card anatomy of weapon cards, which are very similar to monster cards, but simpler to understand. For example, weapon cards do not have life bars or power bars, and have fewer types. They have a name, card description, and type, which we will also cover a little later. Now to go into detail of the different kind of monster effects and weapon cards. First off, the monster effects can be split into 4 different categories: instant, permanent, activator, and trigger effects. Instant effects. This kind of monster effect can be activated during either player's turn. Card effects that say during either player's turn in their card text are instant effects. An example of a monster with an instant effect is Thundershock. Thundershock's effect reads, once per turn during either player's turn when a monster is played, that monster is permanently shocked and pay 1 life from this card. Permanent effects. Permanent effects do not activate when a monster is played. While a monster with this kind of effect is on the field, its effect is active until the monster leaves the field. An example of a monster with a permanent effect is Pinkerbella. Pinkerbella's effect reads, half the power bars on all attacks of the monsters your opponent controls. Activator effects. This kind of monster effect can only be activated during your main phase by declaring its activation. An example of a monster with an activator effect is Gormlin Jester, which reads, once per turn you could special play 1 Gormlin monster from your discard pile and destroy 1 Gormlin card in your weapon card zone. Lastly is trigger effects. These kind of effects happen at a certain time in the game, such as when this card is played or when this card is destroyed by battle. An example of a card with a trigger effect is Cuzzle, which effect reads, when this card is normal played, add 1 Cuzzle monster from your deck to your hand except Cuzzle and pay 3 energy. Secondly, we have different kinds of weapon cards. Not all weapon cards function the same. You need to learn how the different types of weapon cards function. The type of weapon card can be found under the card's name. The 4 kinds of weapon cards are normal, instant, permanent, and attachment. Normal weapon cards. Play by activating on the field. Once used, it goes to the discard pile. This kind of weapon card can only be used during your main phase from your hand or if face down in your weapon card zone. Instant weapon cards. You can activate this kind of weapon card anytime during your turn from your hand or if set face down in your weapon card zone. You could also activate this kind of weapon card anytime during your opponent's turn, but it must be set face down in your weapon card zone. Permanent weapon card. This kind of weapon card stays on the field after being activated. While on the field, its effects are active, just like permanent monster effects. Lastly are attachment weapon cards. When this kind of weapon card is activated, target 1 appropriate monster to be attached with this card. When the monster attached with this attachment weapon card leaves the field, destroy the attachment. While on the topic of attachment weapon cards, there is a special kind of monster that functions much like an attachment weapon card. These are armor monsters. You can distinguish their difference from normal monsters by their green borders, which is the same color as weapon cards. Armor monsters go into your main deck. You can either play armor monsters like a monster card or activate them as a weapon card. If activated as a weapon card, attach it to one monster like you would an attachment weapon card. While the armor monsters are in a weapon card zone, they are treated as an attachment weapon card. When the monster equipped with an armor monster leaves the field, destroy that armor monster, much like you would an attachment weapon card. And as always, thanks for watching, and if you like this video, make sure to hit that like button, and if you're new here and are not subscribed yet, make sure to hit that subscribe button, and if you want to buy your very own Menesis trading card game cards, make sure to head over to thegamecrafter.com to buy your very own booster packs and starter decks.